Hello there. What is going on, everybody? The Mandalorian trailer has dropped. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to be breaking this thing down like piece by piece and just live chatting about it and having a good time. This thing looks incredible. So if you're not already aware, D23 Expo is going on right now, and that's basically where they just they show a lot of high-end Disney people. It's kind of like, it's for a lot of their stakeholders, shareholders and stuff. They as well as certain VIPs, they get a good look at like all the new stuff that's going to be coming, and it's almost like kind of like a SDCC kind of reveal, but it's it's purely focused on Disney stuff. So there's already been a lot of new shows announced, and this year it's all been about Disney Plus. It's been a lot of new shows. We've got like a She-Hulk show, Moon Knight, and also Miss Marvel. 3 all-new Marvel shows that are coming to Disney Plus. But the big star of the evening, the thing everybody's been waiting on, is The Mandalorian. And now this is a short trailer. This is our first full official trailer, though. This is, it's a lot different from some of the other footage that was shown at Star Wars Celebration as well. Star Wars Celebration was more like a sizzle reel and then like a whole scene of dialogue. But this is actually a full-blown trailer. It shows us a lot of new stuff, really good stuff, and it's in high definition, so yes. So we're going to break it down, and it's coming very, very soon. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. Also, I do want to remind you guys, also make sure you're subscribed to the channel and leave a comment on this or one of my videos, because I have that $100 gift card, Amazon gift card giveaway going on until the first week of September. Then I'll announce the winner for that. So, but here we go. Let's go ahead and start. And it starts with some stormtroopers. Look at that. So already, now again, I have to do this because if I just let the whole thing play, I'm going to get hit or whatever. They don't like you just replaying trailers. But it's already taking place in a future, like, post-Return of the Jedi world. So you're starting to see, a lot of this. And this is Outer Rim. And this really looks like they're on Tatooine for almost all of this whole trailer. I don't know if it's like a different planet that just resembles Tatooine or not, but it definitely has that going for it. By the way, that is such a cool looking ship. I love that ship. There's already a ship like that that's been like 3D printed and put in game for Star Wars Legions. Some people are already making their own versions of that ship, and it actually reminds me of a ship I have in Star Citizen, so I'm a fan. It kind of reminds me of the Firefly, just a little bit. It's got a little bit of Firefly going on in there. What do you think? All right, gotta pause here. Like, we're getting a really good look at his ship, really good look at a whole different planet too. This one does not look like Tatooine at all. This one is more like a Jeddah, or maybe even more of a rocky, like maybe, I don't know, Sullust or something like that. But we have a whole nother ship here on the right hand side too. It looks very much like it's probably some other type of bounty hunter ship. At first glance, I thought that was a U-wing. At first glance, I'm thinking U-wing possibly, but not 100% sure. But there looks like there's so much. Like, I think they dumped a lot of money into this show, looking at just some of the sets. And we've already seen, more stuff than that. The Firefly is named Serenity, for those of you asking. And throw your questions out there. I will try to get to as many as I can. Okay, so we got to see Carl Weathers. We got to see this. I don't even know this is gorgeous. This almost reminds me of like maybe what Beggar's Canyon might look like if they decided to put it on the big screen. And so this could be another Tatooine scene here. But they're definitely showing you he's visited like at least 3 different worlds so far. So we're going to get a variety of different planets. And Gina Carano, she has a name, Cara Dune, I believe is her character's name, and she's going to be, she was featured in quite a few scenes during the Star Wars Celebration trailers as well, so that is going to be a fun one, because she is probably even tougher than the main character. so we got, I'm going to have to go back here because they just gave us a ton of stuff to look at in like 4 or 5 seconds. So, first off, that's a lot of Death Troopers, right? Those are clearly Death Troopers. And that's a lot. There's 4, maybe 5 of them if you're counting the rifle that's closest to the camera. So 5 Death Troopers is a pretty big entourage. And we do see somebody a little bit later on. See a mother holding a child. Maybe he is... Maybe my guess with a scene like this is that it's showing the main character as a bounty hunter, but he's also probably like protecting some innocents at the same time. So yeah, it looks like, you know, but there's not too much you can really take away from this. But I want to go back to. All right, we've got her. She looks nasty. She looks kind of like almost like creepy, like Marilyn Manson-esque, kind of like, you know, like Juggalo style, kind of just creepy. You know, normally the Twi'leks are supposed to be very, I don't know, very sensual and very, you know, beautiful, and she looks more creepy to me right here, like demonish, like she's gonna stab you with that knife. So it's kind of cool seeing maybe an evil Twi'lek. But this is the one that really got me right here, dude. I love the look of these dewbacks. It looks like, I don't know if, because there was a scene from Star Wars Celebration where they showed the Mandalorian riding a dewback, and that was totally a throwback to the Star Wars Christmas special, the holiday special, that from, you know, way back when, the first view of Boba Fett, he had that, you know, that trident looking gun on a dewback, and but so it looks like this may be the same dewback he was riding, and maybe it's down, maybe there's a dead dewback. But like, it's so cool looking at the dewbacks. They don't look normal. They look like more feral, or if it's just, you know, the bigger budget, so they decided to make them look way better. So that's very cool. All right, I'm just gonna go forward from here. So this is the guy that's got all these Death Troopers around. So he is going to be a pretty important character. I don't know much about this guy yet, but he apparently is of some significance. My guess is that this might even be a former Death Trooper. Now, if you've read Thrawn Treason, they go into Death Troopers a little bit more, and it's pretty interesting. But I don't want to spoil anything, but they're not zombies, so this guy could be a Death Trooper. There was some speculation that they were actually zombies or something like that. Awesome. So we're getting like a swoop bike. It looks really good. That is definitely a swoop, and that reminds me a lot of like the old swoops, from like the toys that we had in the 90s as well. And then we're seeing with the feet of what looks like an AT-ST, but it's hard to really... Okay, we've got to stop here too, because some of you are in the comments are saying it has a Rogue One feel. I definitely get that. I definitely get the Rogue One feel. It's very much so, and I think for everybody who liked Rogue One, which is pretty much everybody, I think this is going to do it for you. I think it is. So there was a very famous little scene from the trailer of IG-88 spinning around and shooting, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, IG-88's going to be in this." I don't think it's IG-88 because this is showing that same IG. I believe this is IG-11. And the reason I'm saying IG-11, that's not Bosk either. That's the Mandalorian. And it's the only name we have for him right now. It's because some of the toys, some of the merchandise has been leaked. So if you search for Funko Pop The Mandalorian, you're going to see the Mandalorian main character, but also on the back of the box there's 4 other characters. There's like that guy who was riding the dewback. There's also Cara Dune, but there's also this IG, and it's called IG-11. And so I think it's the same series of droid, but I think it's probably somebody that's going to work with our hero. So probably a sidekick or friend, maybe that K2SO character, that counterpart, that maybe even in some cases light comic relief. You know, but yeah, we're gonna see, because the fact that they're walking in together here kind of puts it in that light. So let's keep going from here. Oh, is that a Z95 behind him? I gotta zoom back. That looks like, I don't know if that's a Z95. Like, that's a really good shot of it right there, right? It could be a Z95 or a modified or something very in the department of a Z95. So this is also telling us that we can get space battles. Very much cool. I like that. There he is. Okay, we gotta go back because this is such a sizzle reel. This is such a sizzle reel. See. Yeah. All right. Let's go back a little bit. All right. So yeah, I will try and let's go ahead and. Oh, we can go frame by frame. Yeah, good job, Kraken. So we've got IG11 right here, and I think one of the giveaways that you can tell that this is IG11 is that ammo belt that he's wearing. He's got the same thing in his pop. So if you ever see this droid and he's got that custom ammo belt on right there that he's wearing, that's kind of the giveaway that it's definitely IG11. This is. Thank you for the tip of just going. How long have I been on YouTube and not doing this frame by frame thing? So this is pretty sick right here. I'm digging this. Look at how the head stays still as he spins around. This scene here of him spinning around. This was at Star Wars Celebration, but it was only uploaded like via a cell phone cam, so we couldn't really get this. That's just awesome. That's just awesome.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
All right, so we gotta go back. This whole scene was great. More stuff like this. More stuff like this is awesome, but this poor guy is not gonna be happy. Let's go. Oh my goodness. Right there. He's closing that door right on him. That guy's not going to be happy. I hope that I hope that bounty still pays if you bring him in. If you bring in half of him. So, does it pay half? Nice, but that's a great looking scene where and there's a couple of scenes where he's outnumbered and he's still having it out with them. So this is going to bring the action that I think a lot of the older fans really want. But because of a scene like this makes me think if you've got children, you may just want to watch the first episode first before you have the whole family sit down and watch it together, because you may have to screen these episodes. I'm not sure at what age they won't be appropriate for or what age they'll be appropriate for. They might not be young kid friendly. So yeah, very cool. Like brutal is right. Somebody's saying brutal. They said this was going to be dark.
Don't you agree?
So yeah, it's coming November 12th. Guys, ladies, gentlemen, we got to talk about this. Isn't this incredible? This is absolutely incredible. Boba Fett was a punk, face it. He didn't get I'll say this about Boba Fett. The fan-based community built him up to be more than I think he was ever meant to be or ever intended to be. And so we have kind of made Boba into way more. And at the same time, you wouldn't have this show if it were not for Boba. So you've got to give Boba his credit. If there was no Boba, there'd be no Mandalorian. Say what you will about Boba. Maybe he got a raw deal, but he inspired all of this. So it counts for an awful lot. But yes, some of you say this kind of feels like a movie. I think it does. I mean, I think it's going to be one of those dramatic shows, like a Game of Thrones style show that really, keeps you going, keeps you coming back. And I expect a really strong season 1 finale. Jon Favreau has said Boba Fett will not be in it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he straight up lies if Tamira ends up coming back to play somebody that shows up in the season 1 finale. And if they don't tell you who it is, so then the whole off season, everybody like me and people who are content creators are speculating and trying to be like, oh my gosh, was he a clone or was he Boba Fett? Or I wouldn't mind if they bring him in at some point, but not early. You have to let this character establish himself first. All the starring characters establish themselves first, and then eventually you could probably bring Boba Fett in. But well, Sabine, I don't think needs to be in it, but we're gonna go through it again because I want to run through it again. Are you guys okay with running through it again? I mean, I think there's enough. It's only a minute and a half's worth of footage. Yeah, so there's that ship again. I'm curious what ship you guys think that is, but it looks really practical. It looks like a great ship, and it's got, like, the whole cargo bay. Honestly, the ship that the Mandalorian has, like, it makes me want to play Star Citizen again because it looks just like the freaking ship that I have in Star Citizen, which is kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. She is again. So yeah, like this whole scene, I'm really curious what's going on here because this looks like almost like with the black background. I can't tell if they're on board I think they're on board like some kind of capital ship in a docking bay, and that's like space out behind them, or if they're just inside like a place and the door is closed and that's why it looks black. I'm not sure, but that definitely looks like the Mandalorian's ship behind them. And so like this almost seems like a scene kind of like from episode 4, A New Hope, when he's walking to a ship and all these thugs are around there. It's like, you better pay us our money, or wink wink, I'm gonna get you. You know, she reminds me of like a Harley Quinn kind of character right here. I wouldn't be surprised, you know, because yeah, I'm gonna have nightmares, you know. But yes, also for gaming, this is going to have so many gaming implications. So much new stuff. Absolutely. Everybody talking about gaming, I think you're exactly right. So another thing that this is going to do for gaming too, let me go back to the ATST right here. We are going to see a lot more Imperial stuff, and this is actually a good shot of this ATST. It does look like it's a full-blown ATST, but we're going to get a lot more Imperial stuff. A lot of looks at the Empire, like in a post-Return of the Jedi world. I mean, we know that the Empire didn't just go away; that they kind of fell into shambles. A lot of people were kind of, coming up and. There was a lot of competition for leadership, and Ray Sloan kind of took over, but that was all in the core worlds. That was focused around where Chandrila and Coruscant and like all of the core worlds. It's really going to be interesting how they tell this story from the Outer Rim. And while I'm not usually a big fan of storytelling in like the past, since we kind of already know what happens and that the First Order rises and etc., etc., this is so far removed from everything else. I think it's going to have a lot of freedom as far as characters go. And even if they do bring Boba Fett back into this show, if they bring Boba Fett back and Boba Fett shows up in the show, we still don't know Boba Fett's future. So I'll be just as interested in his character as anybody else's. So it's a really good question if they're going to do him or not. I know Jon Favreau said that they won't, but these people lie sometimes too. The important thing is they don't want you to go into the show waiting for Boba Fett, because then you might be disappointed. All right.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
So somebody said, does that look like Darth Maul in Carbonite? Well, I don't think it could be, because this show takes place after Return of the Jedi, and we know when Darth Maul met his end. I don't want to do too many spoiler warnings. If anything, that looks a little bit more like Hondo Anaka in that particular or at least somebody of the of what kind of race is Hondo? Somebody in the comments is going to know this. I'm right. It's he's a Weequay? I think, is he a Weequay? Let me know in the comments if he's a Weequay or if I think he's a Weequay, or if I'm getting my alien races, because Star Wars has like 100,000 alien races, so it's really easy to get them. Yeah. So another one vote for Weequay, another vote for Weequay. Okay, good. Thank you. All right, good for the confirmation. Teamwork. But yes, we know that Hondo lives at least until the sequel trilogy. Well, we know that Hondo's at Galaxy's Edge, but that doesn't mean he lives. I mean, they have cloning, right? There's cloning. Camino is still, Camino hasn't been destroyed. They could always do some, like, I'd really be interested to see if they did some cloning at some point, just to be able to play mind games with people. That would really be fun. But yeah. And I agree with some of you, like the fact that they can show some brutality. I will tell you this. Let me get to the end and remind me to come back and talk about D23 as a whole, because I want to talk a little bit about D23 as well. But this is pretty cool that there's a lot of... This is funny to me, too, because this whole thing here with all of these carbonite prisoners, at the time of Empire Strikes Back, it seemed like that had never been attempted before. And there's like, well, no bounty hunter would try to free somebody in carbonite. That could kill them. It's only used for transporting goods and stuff like that. And then sure enough, now like everybody's doing it. It's like maybe Lando was a trendsetter, and like, they're like, oh, okay, we can do that. So that maybe that's the thing. I hope they give Lando some credit.
Don't you agree?
So this scene also, where he's talking to this dude, this is a big deal. I forget this actor's name, but he's a major actor. So I think he's going to be a very important character in this particular thing. He seems like he was a former Imperial, and he is giving our Mandalorian character, because when he was up talking to Carl Weathers, and I forget Carl Weathers' character name, but when he was talking to Carl Weathers, like from the clip that we got of the show, and I think this is a scene from like the very first episode, from probably the beginning of the very first episode, and basically it sound like what they kind of imply is that he normally gets bounties from Carl Weathers, but the bounties are running dry. There's a lot of competition for them. They're not paying very good. And so like, all I've got is these bounties, and they're only going to pay you like $5-10 each. And he's like, that's not even going to cover the fuel. And he's like, well, I've got one, but it's really dangerous, And he sends him to this guy, and he walks in. There's a whole bunch of stormtroopers in here. He's totally outnumbered, and he's like, he doesn't even care. He's like, well, you might need more men, or something like that. Like they draw on him. He's like, it's like, lower your weapon. It's 6-1 or something like that. And he goes, I like those odds. It was a great scene. But then they sit down and he has a talk with this guy, and this guy's awesome. He was definitely former Imperial. He's got an Imperial medal on, but he offers, like, I need you to go find somebody in this Miss Werner. Thank you, Werner Herzog. I appreciate it. See, you guys in the comments are awesome. I appreciate this. You're helping me through it. But yeah, so one of the things that happens here is Werner Herzog's character here offers some Beskar to the Mandalorian. Now, Beskar, if you're not familiar, is the material that true Mandalorian armor is made out of. So, and it's also very, very rare. Like, it's like a kyber crystal equivalent, like a kyber crystal rare. So that is obviously going to be our kind of like our, I don't want to say our MacGuffin. What is like the holy grail of this thing is for him to get the full set of Beskar. Like he's got Beskar ore, and he gives him a small sample. It's like it kind of hints that there's more of this, where that came from. And this guy also has like an appreciation for the classic like Mandalorian. Like, you're a dying breed, but I'd love to see a Mandalorian in Beskar once again, like for old time's sake. So why don't you do this bounty for me? And of course, something will happen as he goes to do this bounty that's going to expand the story. Maybe he comes to find out, in a Firefly sense, that he can't complete the bounty, and now this guy's after him. Or maybe he, does complete the bounty and learns a secret along the way. Who knows? But this is basically how they're setting up the plot. Big bounty for a super, super awesome, hard to find reward. And if you get some of it, you have like 3 bricks of Beskar, but you're going to need like 20 to make your armor. So he's going to be like, so he's going to have, more to do. But, that it's just like I love it. I love it. So November 12th, that's not that far away. Disney Plus is launching. You know, another thing cool too is if he does get his Beskar armor, and I could see this being like an end of season 2 kind of thing. He then, like, I would love to see season 2 end, and he's building a new suit of armor. And then so it's like season 3 comes, and you get to see this new super awesome suit of armor. So he's got like a whole new, like, I could see them also wanting to do that for marketing reasons, but I'm okay with it. Like, sometimes there'll be some kind of marketing ploy, and some people will be like, oh, that was cheap, you're just trying to sell more action figures or whatever. In the case of Mandalorian armor, sell it to me. Like, I just want to see it. Give him 3, yeah, unobtainium. Somebody says, yeah, it's unobtainium. Exactly what it is. At least in the case of Beskar, it's already an established thing. It actually makes perfect sense. So all of the little cliche kind of things they're doing to get this show rolling all make sense. So I'm like, I want to say, like, yes, well done. But yes, hey, just now getting to your live stream, YouTube has stopped send out the video. I don't know what that means. They have stopped sending. Nobody's sending the video. Did they turn off the Mandalorian trailer? Is that what you're saying? Well, I've still got it up. So we can run it through it one more time. But before I do, let me talk about the D23 Expo a little bit, because there was something I wanted to tell you. So they showed off a couple of new, a lot of new stuff there. The whole streaming service is going to be starting in November, and it looks like this is going to be one of their launch day things. So that's good. But there's the 3 new Marvel shows. There's a whole lot of new shows. There's new movies and stuff coming in. A lot of it's kids stuff too. A lot of it's Disney related. There's like a Lady and the Tramp live action that's coming to it. There's a lot of that. So all of those things are very cool. They're going to have all of the Star Wars except for Solo and The Last Jedi. And those will eventually be available at the end of the year, and when the Netflix licenses expire, because Netflix still has licenses to them. So all of that is also going to be coming off. So yes. But yes. Oh, they turned off my notification, you're saying. Oh, well, maybe they did. But that's all right. Because it'll be available. Like, this whole video will stay on after the live stream's over. So if you are watching this in the future, hello. Sorry I can't get to your questions right now, but I'll try and come back. But yeah, there's a lot of like really messed up stormtrooper helmets over here. This is the beginning. This definitely looks like Tatooine. So I also want to pause again too, and one of the reasons I'm doing this too is if I just let the whole trailer run, it'll flag me for like copyright stuff that's happened before. You have to stop, and you can't only show so much of something. So although there are certain channels that just rebroadcast trailers, I don't know what kind of agreement they have with YouTube, but apparently I don't have that same agreement. But yes, but I feel like they show us at least 3 very distinct planets here. So we're going to have at least 3 different environments, and that's also important as far as Star Wars is concerned, because if you look at all of the movies, they always had like 3 very different color schemes. So if this is one big story, if like it's one huge movie stretched out over one season, having 3 distinct different areas is actually very Star Wars of them, and that's very, very meta. Like having the desert, having the forest, and then having that rocky gray world. Because honestly, that's, you get a lot of that in every movie. What was Empire Strikes Back started out on Hoth, was all white. Then you were in the asteroid field, and then you were on Bespin, which was more of like a orangey, yeah. So you had that. You always have 3 different like locales or 3 different kind of color schemes. And so, I kind of dig it. New Hope was, New Hope kind of had the 4, but really it was the 3. You had Luke on Tatooine, you had the Death Star interior, and then you had the big, space battle at the end, which was, technically black and white, whereas the interior was still kind of black and white too, but it was different. And they broke it up a little bit with like a few shots. There was only like 2 or 3 scenes of the forest on Yavin 4. And this is that third one I'm talking about. This one's clearly rocky and doesn't match one of the other two. I think this is that same forest world, and I think in the scene they just showed too, I think it is Tatooine that he's on at the beginning. So, what are you guys gonna think if he has a showdown with like 5 or 6 Death Troopers and manages to kill? Like, if he takes down multiple Death Troopers, I'm gonna be really, really impressed, because they are like the elite. Now, granted, they might be able to spin it and say, okay, well, these are Death Troopers, but they're older now, so maybe they've lost their edge. They're not in their prime anymore. But still, even an older Death Trooper is going to be tough. And considering there's at least 5 of them, yeah, that's still going to be like kind of letting you know this dude is serious business. I kind of hope he doesn't kill. Baze Malbus takes down 5. Does he kill 5 Death Troopers, or does he kill 5 Storm and Shore Troopers as they're coming out? I don't know. Oh, I guess at the end. Okay, yeah, he takes them out at the end. Yeah, but he dies doing it. So, but yes, Baze Malbus was a monster too. But one of the things about that is, since Rogue One came out, they've done more to establish that just how elite Death Troopers are. So they've grown. So like, from a certain point of view, Death Troopers have gotten more powerful since then, just because the lore has built them up a little bit more. Kind of like with Boba Fett over the years. I definitely want to see more IG-11, and I want to know what their relationship is here, because it definitely seems like they're working together. I'm gonna double down on my theory that IG-11 ends up being the Mandalorian's kind of counterpart. I believe that he's going to be his C-3PO to his R2-D2 or something like that. I think that's what's going to happen. I'm also curious if he's going to speak. I think he probably will. I'm not sure, though. And I wonder if he will speak basic, or if he will speak some kind of droid language. It's not IG-88. So for those of you who have joined in a little bit later in the stream, this droid here is not IG-88. This is IG-11. And you can tell that it's IG-11 because of the bandolier that he's wearing. It's definitely the same style of droid as IG-88. But I think it's a lot easier for them to just write a different droid that's also recognizable. But, so this way you don't have the whole, oh, is he also plotting to take over the universe when controlling the Death Star and all that stuff. So, we gotta go back because I love this scene. This scene right here, all these stormtroopers surrounding him, and you get a good shot of his gun here too. Very cool, very cool. Like, it's straight out of the holiday special. Straight out of the holiday special with that whole tuning fork kind of gun. It's awesome. IG-88 was on Bespin, but there was 4 IG-88s, by the way, and I'm responding to comments here. You did see an IG-88 or an IG series head in the back of Bespin, and in Legends, that was only one of them because there was A, B, C, and D. There was 4 IG-88s. So I don't remember which one, according to like Tales of the Bounty Hunters, I don't remember which one was on Bespin, but it was not all 4 of them. So IG-88 had that whole Borg kind of thing where his consciousness would go into other droids, and he was, and so they might even work. That is not, I don't believe that has been recanonized yet, so it's still strictly in Legends. It's not part of the Disney, the new canon. So I think they will eventually do some kind of story about IG-88, and it may even tie into this guy. This may tell a backstory and kind of recanonize some of IG-88's story through this guy. It's a good opportunity for them to do that if they want.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession. Don't you agree?
Oh man, I'm blown away. It's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah, I think I've said all I can say about it, because it's only 1 minute and 27 seconds, right? I mean, there's more, 1 minute 35 for the whole thing, but the last 10 seconds is just them showing you the date. So yeah, but what do you guys think? Are you guys excited for the Mandalorian? And I gotta ask you, for those of you who are with me now, are you more excited about the Mandalorian than anything else, or are you more excited about maybe Episode 9, or what gets you the most excited? Maybe some people are more excited about Star Wars Resistance or the Clone Wars Season 7 coming back on. They didn't talk about the Clone Wars Season 7 so far with the D23 Expo thing, so that is interesting. I was a little surprised by that, but yeah, this whole thing looks just amazing to me. I'm excited for everything. Steve, all of the above. Hey, Steve, how you doing? But yes, I'm very excited for all of this. I mean, I knew as soon as they said Disney Plus, it was going to be an automatic subscribe for me. Like, I'm definitely going to be doing that. Galaxy's Edge in Orlando. Yeah, that is opening, I think, next week. I'm going to try and go soon. I live in Orlando, but I am like one of the only people I know in Orlando who hasn't been yet, because I don't have friends that work at Disney. Or I know some people that do, but the problem is they only get like so many, and they, there's commitments and stuff. So, I don't really like to put people out and kind of say, hey, can you please have me be the one person that you're allowed to take with you? I don't want to put that on people. So if somebody offered, that would be a different case. But no, I'm going to try and go in December. But it'll be fun. I'm looking at, like, a friend of mine at work just went to Galaxy's Edge and was telling me, like, if you do go, look up. There's so much detail everywhere. Look up. Try to look up, because there's stuff to see everywhere. There's just all kinds. The attention to detail is incredible there. But yeah, I'm really, really impressed with this trailer. It looks good. I'm surprised we didn't get. There's supposed to be a sizzle reel or another trailer for Episode 9 coming soon, also, and I'm very, very excited about the Episode 9 trailer. I'm more excited about Episode 9 than this show. Just because, I just watched Episode 8 again today. I watched it with the kids, and I love the new sequel trilogy. And I know it's not perfect, but I love the new sequel trilogy. I love all the new Star Wars stuff. So I'm also really, really excited for the Mandalorian. But I like lightsabers an awful lot, and while they could eventually do some lightsabers in the Mandalorian, I don't expect that to be in the first season. I wouldn't mind them exploring the dark saber at some point. That would make sense. It would definitely make sense, and it would be fun too. It'd be good fan service. Although it might be cool to see how they do a dark saber in live action. That would be pretty cool. Let me know if you want to see them do the dark saber at some point. There is so much that they could really do with this. But I think this was a very common sense type of, like, a very safe and obvious story for them to do. It allows them to introduce all new characters. They don't have to have a single person that you've ever seen before, and that's a good thing, because then your expectations will be, at like this neutral level. You won't come in being like, well, they better not kill so and so. Who cares? And you don't know any of these characters, so maybe, honestly, they could kill the main character, Pedro Pascal's character, because we have to just call him the Mandalorian because they haven't told us his name yet. I've heard a funny joke. They said something about, like, some people were boycotting this show that didn't like The Last Jedi because they thought this was doing a service to Rian Johnson, because the last 4 letters in The Mandalorian are Rian, Rian Johnson's first name. And I'm like, are you kidding me? What do you think, they're going to make the Mandalorian's name actually Johnson? So it's going to be the Mandalo Rian Johnson? Like, no, I just thought that was funny. Some people kind of read too far into things. But the darksaber in live action would be really, really cool. We don't know much of the story arc other than he goes to Carl Weathers for a bounty, and none of them are paying good. But he has one connection from some ex-Imperial, that's Werner Herzog, and sends him off on a really sensitive subject on a really dangerous bounty, but he says he'll pay him in Beskar, which is the armor or the type of ore used to create authentic traditional Mandalorian armor, which is very, very rare. That's all we know. And it was kind of like one of these, like, I need you to find somebody, but you can't talk to him and don't ask him any questions, and it's super, super secret. And he's like, you're really not giving me much to go on. It's like, yeah, I know, but I'm giving you enough. If you're good enough, you'll be able to figure out what needs to be done. You know, something like that is all we really know. And that was from the basically the little 3 or 4 minute clip they showed everybody who was at the panel at Star Wars Celebration. I was at Star Wars Celebration, but could not get to go to the Mandalorian panel, and I was a little annoyed because, like, they do it via a lottery, so you don't even have you're not even guaranteed to be able to go. But on top of that, they didn't even stream it for everybody else who was out in, like, the main stage. So, like, that's usually the catch-all. If you can't go to a panel, you can at least watch it on the main stage. You know, watch it because they're going to rebroadcast it. But no, we couldn't even watch it. I had to go find it on YouTube from somebody who snuck their cell phone in there to take a video of it. I was like, what? So, anyway. But yes, this looks great. I'm super excited, and there's just so many more things that we can talk about as it goes. The Mandalorian is not before Boba and Jango. I believe they said this takes place, I want to say 5 or 7 years after Return of the Jedi. It's either 5 years or 7 years after. But yeah, it's in a empty enough time of space, or time of, you know, the Star Wars saga. It's like in between enough stuff that they really don't have to worry about stepping on anything else important that's going on in the galaxy. 5, I'm hearing 5. So yes, so 5 years after Return of the Jedi, this show is taking place. So now, granted, Tamira, what's his last name? Jango Fett and all the clones, right? Tamira is at the perfect age to come back in this and be an older Boba Fett, you know, and he's gonna still be there. He's gonna still be there. So they could always bring Boba Fett in. Doesn't have to Morrison, thank you. I'm getting Ben Mendelsohn's character, and I didn't want to say Tamira Mendelsohn because I knew that wasn't right. Tamira Morrison is the perfect age to come back and do Boba Fett. Now, I would love to see that. I would love to see, like, one of those bar scenes like they showed, right, when he's whipcord launching that dude and pulling him through the door. Let's say he kills somebody, and then, like, season 1 ends right at, like, and another a patron at the bar looks over, and it's Tamira Morrison, and he looks over and he goes, "You just killed my bounty." And it just ends right there. And everybody's like, who was that? Was that a clone? Was he playing a clone? Was that Tamir? Like, you don't even know if it was him or not. And then you see his name in the credits. Or and you're like, wait, was he playing a clone? Was he playing Rex? Was he playing Cody? Was he playing, you know? But Cody would have been, because the clones had advanced aging. So then you have like 4 months or 6 months of like off season. You get all the fans speculating, building hype naturally on their own. I mean, you know, and then come to find out, like, then season 2 or the next season comes out, and then, like, him and the Mandalorian are fighting, you know, because they're fighting over money and stuff, so they can get over it, right? So they don't have to be enemies, but they start off fighting, and they eventually develop a mutual respect because maybe they fight each other to a standstill. Personally, I'd like to see Boba Fett kind of win, get the upper hand, kind of show that it is Boba Fett. And maybe he's got an outfit on that's very similar to his Boba Fett colors, like the green and like a little bit of red, a little bit of orange, right? But it's not quite there. So you're thinking, it looks kind of like it, right? And so if you just joined, I'm just talking about my speculation. If they did put Boba Fett in at some point with Tamira Morrison coming back in, that would be amazing. And yes, So Disney just confirmed a series with Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. Well, they were in talks. I don't know if they just confirmed it or not. Let's see if it's actually. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about that just yet. No, I think Oh, just announced. Oh yeah, they did. Just you're not kidding. It is confirmed. Ewan McGregor. Well, I'm gonna have to make a whole other video about that. I wasn't prepared to sit here and talk about Ewan McGregor saying hello there for and that's all they have to do with him. Ewan McGregor can simply just sit down and say hello there over and over and over again, and I'm going to watch it. I believe you. I'm seeing it right now too. And the only reason I question that is because so many people have misreported that multiple times. Last year, it was all over the place, and it was confirmed. It was locked in. Everybody was talking about it. The year before that, people were rumoring about it. And then, 2 weeks ago, people were saying it was confirmed when it wasn't confirmed yet. Now it is confirmed. You aren't kidding. So, I'm fine with that. This is good. And I think this is a good ending point to kind of drop out, and I'll probably talk more about Ewan McGregor over the weekend. Very exciting. I'm curious what they're going to do, so I'll probably have to put together a video talking about, what I would like to see out of a Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Because it could be anything, and I'll probably still watch it. Although, gosh, we know what happens to him. It's not like... I'll say this. I'll leave you with this. I hope if he does leave Tatooine, if Ewan McGregor does leave Tatooine, I want him to go and find the Death Star while it's under construction and have a face-off with Darth Vader there. Even if it's a brief one. Even if it's a very, very brief one. Because then, in Episode 4, what does Darth Vader say to Obi-Wan? One of the first things he says is, you should not have come back. I always thought, when I watch that now, I'm like, come back? Come back to where? You're not on Mustafar. What does he say you should not have come back? It would make perfect sense if Obi-Wan does manage to find Darth Vader at the Death Star construction site, basically, while it's still under construction. I think that would make a lot of sense. Let me know if you agree in the comments below. And that's all I've got. Don't forget to become a subscriber. Click that bell for alerts and leave a comment so you can be entered to win that giveaway. And I will talk to you guys later. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons as well. And I will see you later. Peace.